It marks 31 years since the disappearance of Springfield's three missing women. On June 7, 1992, Susie Streeter, her mother Cheryl Levitt, and Stacy McCall went missing. Police say the teenagers were last seen about 2:15.
June 6, 1992. Two girls by the names of Streeter and McCall received their diplomas from Kickapoo High School. Then, on June 7th, they were last observed leaving the final of the few graduation parties they had attended that evening at around 2 a.m. They were additionally spotted in Battlefield at some time during the evening. The two had intended to spend the night at the home of their friend Janelle Kirby, but after deciding it was too busy, they left to spend the night at Streeter's residence at 1717 East Delmer Street. It is assumed that they arrived because the following day, the house still had all their belongings, including their clothing, jewelry, purses, and vehicles. Levitt, who was Streeter's mother's last known location, was at approximately 11:15 p.m. on June 6th when she spoke with a friend on the phone about painting an hour more. Streeter and McCall were going to spend the day at the water park, and they were meant to leave from Kirby's house. So the next morning at around 9 o'clock, Kirby and her boyfriend went to the house. When Kirby got there, the front door was unlocked. Her boyfriend went inside, but there was no sign of Streeter, McCall, or Levitt, even though the cars were all parked outside. She also told the authorities that even though the porch light's bulb was intact, the glass lamp shade had broken. Police then concluded that Kirby's boyfriend may have destroyed potential evidence when he naively assisted her in sweeping the shattered glass off the porch. Kirby discovered Levitt and Streeter's Yorkshire Terrier, Cinnamon, inside the residence and noticed that she appeared anxious. Kirby also responded to a strange and disturbing call made by an unnamed male who made sexual innuendos inside. After hanging up, she received another sexual call right afterwards and did so again. After attempting unsuccessfully to contact her daughter by phone for several hours, Janice, McCall's mother, also paid a visit to the residence. Inside, she found that her daughter's clothes from the previous night were beautifully folded, and that all three of the handbags belonging to the women were lying on the living room floor. Cigarettes belonging to Levitt and Streeter were also left inside of the residence. After placing the call and listening to the phone's answering machine, Janice frantically dialed the police to report the three women missing. However, the caller's strange message had accidentally been wiped from the recording. Police considered the call may have contained a clue and were very interested in it. They didn't think it had anything to do with the hoax calls Kirby had received. Moreover, 16 hours after the women were last seen, McCall's parents called the police to report their daughter missing from Levitt's house. The next day, other concerned friends and family called and went to the house. Police ultimately calculated that 15 to 20 visitors to Levitt's home were responsible for the crime scene's contamination. Except for the broken porch light, there were no indications of a struggle when the police arrived. Police also discovered that Levitt had slept in her bed. All personal belongings, including wallets, cash, automobiles, keys, smokes, and the family dog, were abandoned. On December 31st, 1992, a man called the America's Most Wanted hotline with information about the woman's disappearances. But the call was disconnected when the switchboard operator attempted to link up with the Springfield investigators. Police said the caller had prime knowledge of the abductions and publicly appealed for the man to contact them, but he never did. Levitt and Streeter were declared legally dead in 1997. However, the case files are still officially filed under missing, leaving the case to be known as one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries.
There's been no sign of human remains yet in the new search over the missing Beaumont children. Investigators spent the day sifting through soil, finding rubbish and animal bones on land once owned by a person of interest.
The Beaumont children, also known as Jane Nartar Beaumont, Arna Kathleen Beaumont, and Grant Ellis Beaumont, were three Australian siblings who vanished from Glenelg Beach near Adelaide, South Australia, on January 26, 1966, leading to a possible kidnapping and murder case. A tall man in his mid-30s with fairish to light brown hair, a narrow face, and a suntanned complexion, and a medium build was seen with the three youngsters in and around Glenelg Beach on the day of their disappearance, according to various witnesses and according to police investigations. The Collie Reserve and Wenzel Cake Shop on Mosley Street in Glenelg both reported seeing the kids. The youngsters and their presumed friend were not found despite extensive searches. Australian habits are said to have changed as a result of the case, which attracted international attention and led parents to question the safety of leaving their kids unattended in public. Police and media rumors in recent years have suggested a connection between the disappearances and the 1973 kidnappings at Adelaide Oval. A few months later, a woman said that on the night of the disappearance, a guy entered a nearby house that she had assumed was empty with the help of two girls and a boy. Later, the woman claimed to have seen the youngster alone and being chased down by a man before being roughly caught. The man and the kids were unable to be seen the following morning, and the house appeared to be abandoned once more. Police were unable to determine why she had withheld this information earlier. About a year after the kids vanished, other sightings of them were reportedly seen. Then, in November of 2013, the back of a North Plimpton factory that had belonged to Harry Phipps, a potential suspect in the Beaumont case, was excavated. In February 2018, additional excavation at a slightly different site location was conducted. However, nothing of significance was discovered. The excavations were based on two men's claims that Phipps had paid them as youths to dig a hole there around the time of the abduction, as well as geophysical research that had shown unusually disturbed soil. Animal bones were found during the 2018 search, but there was no proof that the Beaumont kids were involved. More than 50 years later, the case still remains unsolved to this day.
It's been 31 excruciating years of questions for three Austin families.
Tonight marks 31 years since what has become known as the yogurt shop murders happened here in Austin. 4 teenage girls killed inside a North Austin, I can't believe it's yogurt shop, before the building was set on fire.
To this day, the community's
The I Can't Believe It's Yogurt store in Austin, Texas was the scene of the unsolved quadruple homicide known as the 1991 Austin Yogurt Shop killings on Friday, December 6, 1991. 4 adolescent girls were killed: Sarah, age 15, Amy Ayers, age 13, Eliza Thomas, age 17, Jennifer Harbison, age 17, who was the sister of Sarah. Sarah and her friend Amy were in the store to receive a ride home with Jennifer after it closed at 11 p.m. While Jennifer and Eliza worked there, a man who had attempted to rush customers in his line was given permission to use the restroom in the back. It took a very long time and may have jammed the back door open just before 11 p.m. when Jennifer secured the front door to keep out further customers. A couple who had left the store claimed to have seen 2 males acting suspiciously at a table. The girls' bodies were found inside the shop after a police patrolman reported a fire there at about midnight. Some of the victims had been raped in addition to being shot in the head. The murders were carried out using a .22 and a .380 handgun, and the perpetrators most likely left by an unlocked back door that was discovered. One of the original detectives on the case believed that an experienced adult rather than juveniles was responsible for the structured mode of operation, the capacity to manage the victims, and the destruction of evidence by arson. As a consequence of one of the rapes, Austin Police Department acquired DNA from the unidentified male. The FBI had discovered a Y chromosome match for the perpetrator's DNA in a research database, but had chosen not to reveal the man's identity in accordance with the law of donor anonymity. And because thousands of men could carry this fragment of DNA, which cannot be used to identify specific individuals, thus leaving the case unsolved to this day. Thank you for watching, and catch y'all on the flip side.